Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching A Healthy Alternative. Today, we're going to be answering the question, how long should you water fast for weight loss?
We're missing a piece of the puzzle. You start getting healthy and you just become a better person. We need to start focusing more on the individual.
Before we get started today, I just want to say thank you all for all of the activity, the comments, the questions. We've been combing through them in the beginning of this year. A lot of the content you're going to be getting coming up here in the next few months and over the year is going to be content you guys are asking for. So keep commenting. Make sure that you like and, of course, subscribe if you haven't already. So I get this question a lot. How long should you water fast for weight loss? This is also going to be tied into how long you should water fast for some other areas like mental clarity and general healing and things of that nature. I figure we kind of bundle it all together. So number one, fasting for weight loss. Honestly, you're going to start seeing weight loss on day one of your fast. It is extremely rare that you fast for a 24-hour period of time, especially if you're a new faster or if you haven't fasted in a while and you don't see any weight loss. As a matter of fact, I don't know that I've ever heard anybody say that, although stranger things have happened. With that being said, from day one, the weight loss is going to begin. Now, we've discussed this in many other videos. There's an average amount of weight you're going to lose with the fasting methods. So when you're using pure water fasting, if you fast for 2 weeks straight, the average is about 2 pounds per day. Okay. After 2 weeks of fasting, let's say you fast for 21 days, 30 days, the average drops down to 1 pound per day. So when you're looking at fasting for weight loss, it's really going to depend on the outcome you desire. How much weight do you want to lose and how quickly do you want to lose it? Now, every time you alter the type of fast you're doing, you're going to alter your weight loss potential. All right. And there's things you could do to mitigate the loss of, so I was going to say the loss of weight loss, the slowing of weight loss. Okay. But ultimately, there are things you're going to do that's going to give you the best outcome. There's things that you're going to do that's going to give you a great outcome, maybe not the best, but either way it goes, keep everything. It's important to make sure you understand losing a pound a week in traditional methods is phenomenal. You know, if people could lose a pound per week, that's 52 pounds a year. Most people, when they're actively looking to lose weight, they're gaining 3 or 4 pounds a year. So the methods that we're applying, they work. And if you're finding that you're not getting the weight loss you desire, some small tweaks might be necessary, like dietary change. If you're just fasting for weight loss and you're not making any changes to your diet, when you eat, it's going to detract greatly from your weight loss. I'm just going to be honest. If you're not combining it with dietary strategy, and you already know what we talk about, high water content foods, right? Staying away from meat, dairy products, processed foods, refined sugars. This really does make a very big difference. So let's say that you're not doing pure water fasting, right? Let's say that you're doing the rolling 72s, R72. If you're eating every 3 days or on the fourth day you start to eat, it is imperative that on that day you still practice some sort of fasting to help keep the weight loss going. So you could do, one meal per day, or if you're going to keep your actual eating habits really tight, you could do like 2 raw meals. Either one would be great. Okay. And what I would say is, if you're looking to lose 30 pounds and you're using something like the rolling 72s, then you're going to want to fast. You're going to want that regimen to last for about a month, right? So 30 pounds at a moderate intensity level, meaning that when on the days that you eat, maybe you're still, not perfect. You're still eating Chick-fil-A and things of that nature, which I highly recommend you don't do that. Your weight loss is going to be about a 1 pound per day throughout the whole process. So 30 days, 30 pounds. Now, if your weight loss slows down, or you feel like, let's say you're one of those people, you fast for a day or 2 days and you don't lose any weight. What you want to do is shift your focus away from purely just the fasting, because what's likely happening is your elimination pathways are completely plugged. So what you want to focus on is detoxification. I know that fasting is a part of the detoxification process, but when the body starts dumping all of the toxicity from your fat cells and your fat reserves into your elimination pathways, if they're not clear, not only are they not going to move well, but also you can get some really violent detox symptoms. So I'm going to encourage you all to you could either look for a detox tea, or you could do something to encourage bowel movements. Now, this is a really this suggestion is going to work, but it might not be your favorite thing to do. And I like to use it as motivation to make good habits, because I don't want to do this thing, right? So some of y'all may have heard me talk about hexane-free castor oil. Okay, so castor oil comes in a glass bottle. You want to make sure that it is hexane-free, and you literally get like a tablespoon of it, and you drink it. One pro tip: get yourself some lemon slices or lime slices and chase it. That'll help with the taste of the castor oil, but that's going to help start to move the bowels, right? It's very important that when you go into your fasting regimen, your bowels are moving naturally. This is going to help. Basically, it'll help mitigate the risk of you not eliminating and not getting the weight loss you want. And you could do this ahead of time. This is part of the reason why we teach a prep as you get into your fasting. The prep would help you prepare your physical system for the fast, and this would be part of that. In the prep, the full prep that we teach, we don't actually use castor oil, but this is just an option that you all can use without knowing the full prep, because I'm not going to get into it in this video. But what I found is the once the bowels get going, and then you don't eat like meat and you're not eating the dairy, cheese is just completely terrible for you when you're doing this type of stuff. Then it flows a little bit more naturally. You could also do a colonic. Colonics are great to help get the bowels going, and as long as you're focusing on high water content foods, this will help. So if you're not losing weight, do that first and then go into your water fasting. You could also start with juice fasting. So now let's look at juice fasting, right? Let's say if you want to lose weight with juice fasting, you're going to lose about 1 pound a day juice fasting. Now, this is an average. So remember, you could lose nothing, or you could lose 2 pounds. All right. I mean, we've seen some pretty amazing things. We've also seen some really highs, some peaks, and some really lows. One lady reported losing 10 pounds, in her first day or so of fasting, and then maybe the next couple days you don't really lose any weight, right? So then that 10 pounds kind of averages out. So it's just important to understand this. When you are fasting for weight loss, you also want to be aware of the fact that these numbers are all averages. So you want to be weighing yourself maybe like once a week, or maybe even twice a month, because what that'll do is it'll give you, the longer that you do your fast, the better you will see the numbers. Like if you weigh yourself every single day, you're going to see the dramatic ups and downs. If you only weigh yourself once a month or twice a month, it won't be as dramatic. You'll see the average a little bit better, if that makes sense. And then of course, I always recommend that you all tape yourself when you're doing any type of fasting, because if the weight loss doesn't look right, then it's very likely that your body is shrinking. One of the things I get a lot with my consultations, and just in general, you guys ask a lot about loose skin. I need you all to make the correlation. The reason why you don't get loose skin on fasting is kind of a two-part answer, and there's a few other elements, but these are the major points. Number one, hydration. When you're water fasting, you're hydrating, you're drinking water. We recommend 1 gallon of water a day. So you're getting a lot more water in than you typically would. Also, you're not dehydrating by eating dehydrating foods, so that helps a lot with hydration levels. The other thing is autophagy. It's the body eating and using up the old protein and the cells that essentially aren't needed anymore. It recycles those cells, especially if they're damaged or worn out, and rejuvenates them and utilizes them in a different way. So that loose skin and stuff will go away. But in order to do that, in order to get the benefit of that, the body can't just be losing weight constantly. It can't lose weight every day, 2 pounds a day perfectly, or 3 pounds a day. Every day you're going to see 3 pounds. There's going to be times when the body's going to shift its focus on autophagy, and it's really going to ramp it up, and you're going to see the tightening and shrinking of the body and the skin. You could look at it as contouring. So it's one of the greatest benefits of this process, and it's just something y'all need to understand and actually be appreciative of, and look at it like it's a great highlight. When I'm fasting, well, maybe not me personally, because I don't really fast for weight loss, but when I'm monitoring someone who is fasting and they're like, yo, Chris, I'm on day 10 and I haven't lost weight for 3 days. I'm like, beautiful, because I know that when you're fasting, your body's working, period. It's not like I'm fasting and nothing's happening. That's impossible. That's never going to be the case. What we talk about is really being able to help to see outcomes a little bit better, because it helps motivate people. But even with what I told y'all earlier, for the person who fasts, they fast day 1, they don't lose any weight. If you don't do anything that I suggested and you just keep fasting, eventually the bowels are going to move, and you'll start getting the outcomes. You'll start seeing it. It's impossible to fast and just not get the benefit. So that's the one good thing about it. Now, as some of you all know, recently we've been promoting the Root Wellness brand on the channel, and we created a Telegram group. So everybody who joins the Root Wellness brand also gets an invitation to our Telegram group. And we've been just hearing such amazing testimonials. Today, a lady talked about how she deals with asthma. She's allergic to, pollen and different allergens and things of that nature. And she has these really bad fits. And her doctor wanted to put her on steroids, but I guess the prescription didn't get filled in time. And on that day that she was having that issue, her Root products arrived. So she decided to use the Root products because she didn't have her medication. And she said overnight she got relief. And she said that's unheard of for her. But she did mention that she woke up in the morning, had a ton of mucus and stuff coming out. And this all aligns with what I've been teaching for the past 5 years. When I very first started fasting, I used the Dr. Sebi herbs along with my fast, and I noticed a lot of mucus coming out, right? Understand that the body uses mucus as a defense mechanism to help to aid in the protection of your system, especially when you're talking about environmental contaminants and things of that nature. The sign that your body is releasing mucus is a great sign, because it's essentially going to eliminate and move the contamination out with the mucus. The mucus suspends the contamination, the irritant, and then you could move it out of the system through the mouth, the nose, the anus. It comes out everywhere. So this is always a good sign. And I just want to encourage you all, if you have not taken the time to check those videos out that I did, either talking about the Root products or the interview that I did with the company, I highly suggest that you do that. I'm gonna leave a card in this video and probably in the description box so you guys can check it out. We are seeing some amazing things. So now I just briefly wanted to touch on, outside of weight loss, how long should you fast for certain outcomes? All right. If you're interested in spiritual enlightenment, which a lot of people fast for spiritual reasons, the fasts, you're going to want those fasts to be longer in duration. So different from fasting for weight loss, when you fast for a spiritual enlightenment, I recommend literally like 10 days plus. And I've told this story before. When you fast, the body takes care of different things at different times. You can kind of look at it as there's layers, there's levels to it. Imagine that there's like a 5-story building, right? And level 1 would be considered day 1 through 3 of fasting. So you fast for 3 days, you're on level 1. On day 4 of your fast, you go up the stairs, you're on level 2 now. On level 1, there's certain outcomes you can expect. You can expect weight loss. You can expect disease reversal. If you're consistently fasting on level 1, you're going to reverse diabetes. You're going to help regulate, the blood pressure and the blood sugar and all these things. So there's a lot of physical things you're going to experience on level 1, which is why I do recommend the R72 program, because you can fast for those 3 days and you could get great benefits, and it's very motivational and it's a very outwardly expressing thing. Then when you start fasting for day 4 through, I would say, day 8 or 9, you're going to start seeing some of the mental clarity. You're going to start seeing some of the vitality, some of the things that, people talk about that sound really weird. Like, you might feel like, oh, I don't even need to eat anymore because you feel so good. Or you may have the drive to want to go to the gym, work out. Me personally, I wanted to work out, which is, I'm not a workout guy. Y'all can tell. I don't really like going to the gym. But when I was fasting from day 4 to probably like day 8 or something, I had all these thoughts of working out, going to the gym, cutting out alcohol, really treating my body like the temple that it is, and making sure that I'm doing everything that is good and positive for myself. I also had a lot of ideas and creativity. My energy levels weren't the greatest during this time, but my vibrancy and my mental clarity were through the roof. Then, as you get to day 10 through 14, the body starts heavily detoxing again. But what comes along with that detox is emotional stability. You start releasing emotional trauma, energetic trauma, and in turn, it helps to raise your spiritual awareness. It's like this beautiful dance. As you release, you also gain clarity on that level. And obviously, the longer you go, the different levels that you go, these things heighten and change. And so the duration that you fast for does have an impact on your outcomes. Oftentimes, I find that depending on where a person's focus is where they're going to see outcomes. But even with the physical part, right? Because I mentioned on, doing day 1 through 3, you're going to see a lot of physical stuff happen. That doesn't mean that day 25 or 28, you're not going to see it, right? Because if let's say that you're dealing with loose skin, or loose skin is one of those things that you're just really nervous about, day 15 to 21 of a water fast, you get to experience the fasting shrink week, right? It's an entire week of time where your body is shrinking and tightening, and autophagy is just on fire. So that's something that you don't see at that level, okay? Because you're gonna get it regardless, but you don't see it in that capacity until you get from like day 15 to day 21. And then also, when you talk about longer fasts, 30 days plus going on to 40 days, a lot of the material, the synthetic material that you can find on the intestinal wall will start to release. So it's fun to play around with fasting, like the different durations. It's fun to pay attention to what you're experiencing, the benefits, how they differ, but understand that there is levels to it, and it's a journey. You may not even want to think about fasting for 40 days right now. Maybe you're brand new, or maybe you're fearful of the process. Maybe you don't have enough information, whatever the case may be. Cool, don't worry about it. Okay? I do not encourage people to go from 0 to 100 anyway. So take your time. Do the rolling 72. Do alternate day fasting, right? Keep your fast short, less than 10 days, less than 7 days. Whatever you need to do to feel comfortable to get some momentum going. And then what I find happens is when we make fasting a part of our lifestyle, especially dietary change, we're drinking our water, we are supplementing well with healthy products and things that are going to vitalize us, then it's a natural inclination to want to go to the next level. And that's the only time you need to do it, is when you are ready, Now, if you're dealing with a severe disease and there's somewhat of you have a little bit more pressure on you, maybe, I can understand you wanting to push a little bit harder, right? But even with that, right, even if you're dealing with a severe disease, if you couple whatever fasting regimen you're doing with proper dietary strategy, you're drinking your water, you're eating your high water content foods, you're eliminating the products that we talked about, the meats, the dairy products, processed foods, refined sugars that hinder your healing. If you do that combined, You still don't have to do these crazy fasts. You can. I mean, you can. I'm not going to tell people not to do it. But what I like to look at is sustainability. And I just want you all to know that there's so many different options. There's so many different ways you can approach this. And I've made this video too long as it is. I just feel like, this video has gotten too long. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. But I appreciate your time and attention. If you have not already, hit the like button. If you got this far in, you must have liked it. You watched it all the way through. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. I went live last Sunday. And, people tell me, oh, Chris, I'm not getting live notifications. Make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted when I do go live, when I do post videos. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. And I'll see you all next time.